Ciso. Oh, it's fabulous! A strike to get you up off your seats.
Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social. This is the Spurs away match reaction. It's the last one of the season, boys. And of course, I am joined by Ben and Jack. Hello. How is everyone today? Jack, we'll start with you, mate.
Yeah, just went out for dinner for my brother's birthday. Really sunburnt on my bald head. Pictures on Twitter if you want to see that. And when I was in VIP in Brighton, I banged my head on the ceiling and made it bleed. So that was good as well.
Sorry, were you a VIP or there's a place called VIP?
VIP, very important pizza. I don't know.
I was gonna make the joke VIP pizza, but damn it, that's so annoying.
Yeah. So it's look, there you go. They get some free advertising. Great pizza, great Italian food. My mum had a lovely seafood spaghetti.
Nice, good. Well, glad she enjoyed it. And Ben, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good man. Just tired. Not hungover today, which is good.
When are you not tired? I swear every podcast you're like, I'm tired.
Yeah, but not self-inflicted.
You need to get some
this one.
sleep, buddy.
I do, buddy. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully it will be now the season's over.
Maybe he's been going on all these walks and yeah.
All these dates. All these dates, man.
What are you on about? Ben never goes on dates, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you got the wrong person, Jack.
Yeah, maybe Ben, I have.
Yeah, that's not me, pal.
Ben is chronically single and at home. So anyway.
What about yourself, Maz?
Oh yeah, it was good, mate. No, actually really good. I was in Brighton for the weekend. It was my mate's birthday. Went out for dinner in Ivy Asia. Very bougie, very couture, very cutesy. But actually bang average. So if you listen to Ivy Asia, yeah.
Yeah, actually, you know, I know we're here to talk about football, but can I just say, like, a big gripe I've had for a long time? I think the Ivy restaurants are, like, massively overrated.
Of course.
You're paying for the decor. The decor. The food isn't that good. If you want good food...
The decor's brilliant. But
yeah, the decor is brilliant. So, yeah, that's a little bit of promotion for VIP.
If you want good food, go to VIP Pizza and use...
Yeah, exactly.
Jack 10.
Yeah. And don't go to the Ivy Asia because
correct.
It's average.
No, really, really nice. Yeah, really nice weekend back home in Brighton. So yeah, that was lovely. Let's talk football then, boys, shall we? The last match reaction of the season, as Jack has stated in the previous pod, not the last podcast of the season, but the last match reaction of the season. And what a way, boys, to go out. 4-1 victory. I, for one, wouldn't want to be a Spurs fan right now. I mean, I would, because they just won a trophy.
Zing.
They did get battered by Brighton, because that's just what we do now, don't we? It's just what we do, really. We go and batter teams because we're so good and we're Europe bound. So it's great to be a Brighton
Europe bound, crikey.
I mean, we're all going on holiday at some point, so technically we are Europe bound.
I'm Europe bound. I'm going to Copenhagen for a wedding. So there you
go. We are going to Europe, boys. So technically speaking, but no, all jokes aside, Ben, we'll start with you, mate. Obviously, the dream didn't happen. The very slither of hope that we had obviously didn't pan out. Chelsea ended up winning. Aston Villa lost 2-0 to Man United. It just didn't go our way. And we all really, I think deep down in our hearts of hearts, we all knew it wasn't going to happen. But there was a slither of hope.
No, I thought it was going to happen. But you know what?
There's
any silver lining to us not getting it is Villa finally getting karma for the Hawkeye issue. When they didn't go down and they stayed up and now they're complaining. That is the silver lining. And if anyone knows me, they know I despise Aston Villa. Yeah, so seeing them in pain...
Why do you hate Villa so much? I don't get it.
Just because every time we go there, we lose. That Hawkeye thing pissed me off so much. I hate Tyrone Mings for keeping Lewis Dunk out of the England team for so long because Tyrone Mings is dog shite. And yeah, a lot of other things. But yeah, Villa's just a team that I despise them. So yeah, that was nice seeing them in pain.
So I know Europe, but you got to see Villa suffer. I suppose that's how you look at it.
Karma always comes around eventually, guys.
It does, It does. Oh, fuck me, you're in for a treat. No?
I
know. That was too easy. That was an open goal, Ben. Jack, how are you feeling about No Europe? Obviously, yeah, like I said, there was a slither of hope, but yeah, I think I was watching the Chelsea Forest game intently, just because obviously that was the big one. And it just didn't really look like Forest were ever going to do it, to be honest. So, yeah, how do you feel?
I mean, it's a little bit gutting, but it is what it is. I think a lot of the consequences of not getting getting Europe, I don't think there's like big consequences with considering it's Conference League. I think, for example, I think it's been made of by some people, of course, mentioned that if we don't get Europe, we don't keep certain players. I'm sorry, but Mitoma's going to Bayern Munich if he does go to Bayern Munich. I'm not saying he will, whether we have Conference League or don't have Conference League. So I don't think that changes anything on that front. It's obviously gutting. I would have loved to have done the trips, especially in the Conference League. But it is what it is, and we've got to kind of move on and, focus on next season. And I think, with the squad that we've got, if we can keep the majority of it together, then, we're in for a good season last year. And we've sort of, we kept our part of the bargain, which like brings you satisfaction, I suppose, in a way. I think if we had lost and then, Chelsea had somehow lost, and it would have felt a lot worse. But I think it sort of sums up a lot of what I think we should have been doing this season, which is focusing on ourselves rather than other teams. Yeah. And I think 100%. Not so much the players on the pitch, but I definitely think the fan base has been focusing on other teams a lot more than ourselves. And yeah, it just shows that we've got to focus on ourselves, and we've just got to play our best game. And that's what we did. That's what we did on Sunday. We were absolutely fantastic in the second half.
Yeah, no, 100%. I echo that as well. I think we left too much in other people's hands. We didn't leave it in our own control, which was ultimately our downfall. And do you know what? I actually wanted to bring this up. Actually, looking at the table yesterday, I didn't realise how much we caught up on Forest. Pardon me, 4 points off Forest in 7th. So that would have been Europe. We wouldn't have to worry about this whole 8th, Conference League. Who's going to Chelsea do this, Chelsea do that, and actually 4 points. And if you think about some of the results this season, obviously the big ones, against the bottom 3, dropping points against Leicester, dropping points against Southampton, dropping points against who's the other one? Ipswich. Like those points would have accumulated, and that would have taken us over the line, and we wouldn't have had to worry about what other teams are doing. So actually, from that perspective, I am a bit like, what could have been, but we can't dwell on the past. And like Jack says, in my opinion, I think if we can keep hold of those key players, which I think we will, fingers crossed. I think there'll be maybe João Pedro, Mitoma will be the two, maybe potentially, but I can see most of the squad remaining, and I think we're in for a really good season next season. Fingers crossed, if we can recruit and keep that nucleus of the squad, I think Hurzeler can get the best out of the players. I think they're now bought into it. I don't know if you boys agree, Ben. Do you feel like now the team have bought into Hurzeler's sort of ethos and charisma and, the whole package of Hurzeler?
So for the last 2 minutes, I've just been zoning out because I haven't been able to hear you, but I've just come back now. You've said Ben, so that's good timing. I think the players have definitely, it's been a solid end to the season, I'd say. I think I'm very looking forward to next season. We recruit well. We manage to keep hold of our players, and there's no reason why we can't have an even better season. I know, Jack, a couple of episodes ago, you mentioned about how we were, was it 3 points off of our record with De Zerbi or something like that?
Well, we finished 1 point off.
Yeah, 1 point.
Yeah.
1 point off, which is incredible considering how good we felt that De Zerbi season was. And if it wasn't for a freak at Crystal Palace winning the FA Cup, we'd be achieving Europe, and we'll be looking at this season with incredible pride, thinking that we've got Europe. A big transitional season with a new young manager, the youngest manager ever, by the way, to ever manage in the Premier League, that we would be saying this is a historical season, but for a freak Crystal Palace FA Cup victory. So, I'm fully confident that we'll be able to concentrate on just the Premier League next season. That'll be another benefit to us compared to all the teams above us fighting in Europe. Unless there's obviously Bournemouth will probably kick on a little bit. If they manage to hold on to a few of their players and recruit well, because they'll be losing some players. Fulham will probably just get better and better again. So we'll probably be against those guys again. Brentford, I can probably see them tailing off a little bit if they get rid of Mbuemo and maybe another few players. So, I'm definitely very confident going into next season. And to answer your question, yes, I think the players have definitely bought into him a lot more.
Yeah, nice. Jack, would you echo those thoughts?
Yeah, I'd echo what you said. I think next season we've got to concentrate on it. And, as much as it would be, maybe some teams will get better. I think some teams may struggle with the schedule. I think Forest, they're already starting to look like they were struggling with the schedule come the end of the season, because they did have some sort of serious fall off towards the end. And I think you've got to look at the teams which are around us. I still think Bournemouth are in with a shout to have a good season next year. It's quite interesting. My good friend, the Beak of Beak Street on Twitter, did put a poll about which team had the most deluded European dream. And I said, like, ultimately all the Palace fans are just going to vote for Brighton. But I think in reality, the most deluded one was probably Bournemouth, because, they were in Champions League places in February, and they did sort of fall off quite incredibly. And you're not quite seeing the Iraola sort of, best manager in the league shouts. And we did really well to sort of come back at the end. And yeah, it's a bit disappointing. It's a bit of pill to swallow, because essentially, Crystal Palace took our European place away from us. But, we had a great end to the season. I think there are a couple of things that we need to change next season. I definitely think that I'd like to see the consistency go up. Like, I don't want to see us having runs of 6 defeats, 6 wins, 6 defeats, 6 wins, whatever, which is quite frustrating. But look, I think they're buying into a way that Hersler wants to play. And I think definitely in these last 2 games especially, we're really seeing this sort of high press, high energy, high intensity football. And yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing thus far.
Yeah.
Do you guys think, quickly before you go into it, obviously talking about other teams that are going to be strong again next season, with Palace now having Europa League, will that be an issue for them like it probably was for us? Because obviously they've had an unbelievable end to the season. Yeah. And I was thinking if they didn't get Europe, they'll just be able to kick on again in the Premier League next season. We know they tend to start poorly and then get better. But under Glasner, it kind of feels a little bit different. They could have maybe hit the ground running and have a really good season. So that would be even worse next year if we're competing for Europe with them.
Annoyingly, because I think if they hadn't got Europe this season, I think, for example, let's just use Eze as an example. I think he'd be the first one out, because everyone would have wanted him, every top 6 club. But now with Europa League, and again, it goes to Jack's point of, like, Matoma going to Champions League football. Obviously, if someone offers Eze Champions League football, he might have a look at it. But I think they'll definitely keep him now for at least another season, because they're in Europe. First season in Europe with Palace. It's a big sort of thing. Zaha never did it. Elise obviously didn't do it. It's like a big thing maybe for Eze just to be like, look, it's the first season I can play in Europe with Palace. So I think they're going to keep a lot of that squad now, whereas maybe they would have lost a lot of that squad going into summer. Gahey was obviously linked away. So yeah, I think you're going to see, unfortunately for us, them keep a lot of the players and add more players, because they're going to attract Europa League standard players now. So sadly, I think, with Palace, for example, they are going to probably get better, and with a manager like Glasner, who, as much as we hate to admit it, he's a very good manager, got European pedigree, they are probably going to kick on. But with the schedule, will they be able to handle it? That's going to be the big question, isn't it?
Yeah, he has won the competition. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So I'm not looking forward to their next season, to be honest.
No, I think every team struggles with the schedule, and you've got to have a deep squad to go far in it. Like we discovered that you do need to have that deep squad. On them keeping players, they might keep players, they might not. We all thought we would keep McAllister and Caicedo when that situation came around, and we didn't. So there's, true, yeah. if Eze gets a great offer from a Champions League side, like you said, then I can't see him wanting to stay. But let's not focus on Crystal Palace, because
we're doing what we said we shouldn't be doing.
Because who gives a shit? But I think we've got to look at this as an opportunity. You look at Newcastle, who missed out last year and missed out this season. They obviously saw that opportunity and used that opportunity to push on. And look, they're in the Champions League again. So why can't we sort of use that? And, I don't want to hear a transitional season next year. Next season's got to be, these players are ready and here to stay. And what is good is a lot of the players who I felt like took a long time to settle in and now settling in and looking really, really good. And hopefully with a full pre-season beside them, a couple more additions, a bit more depth in positions which have been glaring out for depth this season, and maybe a little bit of an overhaul in some positions. Who knows what we can do?
No, 100%. And just quickly, before we get into the game, Jack, you mentioned about, from this season, going through dips, 6 games winning, 6 games losing. My biggest thing that I want going into next season is our ability to play, because our record, I don't know if you guys saw it, our record against the top 6 is really good. I think just after Liverpool, we got the best record against the top 6, which is incredible. So impressive. But against the bottom sides, we don't have a great record. And I think that's what I want us to change next season is to have a consistency. Even if we're not saying we have to beat every team in the league, because obviously that means we'll be Premier League champions, which would be great, but not very realistic. But yeah, just having that consistency, especially against the bottom sides, that's what I want us to get better at.
To not drop 22 points in the season again.
There you go.
Winning positions. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So
And I think
that'd be my big focus.
What is the interesting thing though, and this is something that I discussed is with friends and stuff, is this dropping points against teams down the bottom though? It's not a Hersler problem. It's a club problem, and I think for us to move on as a club, we've got to get past this little blockade that we have, because under De Zerbi it happened, under Graham Potter it happened, under Houghton I remember losing to teams round the bottom when we were also. Teams around us, like I remember Bournemouth and Cardiff for that horrible week. So we've got to sort of deal with this low block and sort of being like, I think we've got to deal with being the favourite. And we're so good at being the underdog, but we're not very good at being the favourite. So yeah, that's where we've got to change things, I think.
No, 100%. And then, Jack, you sort of segued that quite nicely into players settling in. And we saw, again, a tale of two halves, exactly like Liverpool. Yeah. First half, losing, and then coming out second half and turning it around. But yeah, obviously a Solanke penalty starting off with a UEFA challenge, which, a bit of a clumsy one from UEFA.
Well,
obviously, he's been fantastic recently, but a bit of a clumsy one from him, Jack.
Yeah, I got a bit pissed off at that whole phase of play, not to moan too much. And this is kind of, this happens every game in our season. We're terrible in the first and great in the second. But, I was really disappointed because Yari gave the ball away, which essentially sent it forward. But it wasn't Yari's fault. Yari should have never received the ball. There were 4 players on him at the same time. It was a bit of a hospital ball. And I do think sometimes we just need to be a little bit more intelligent with our passing and not just going for the first yellow shirt or blue and white shirt that we see. And and that sort of, as much as we for the challenge was poor, there should have never been the situation for him to make the challenge. So, I was quite frustrated by that. And to go 1-0 down, that was very annoying. But, we came back like Peter Mandelson in the 80s.
Not used that one before, Jack.
No. I used that one far too much.
Yeah. And what really annoyed me, obviously, I think it was when they were at 1-0 up, or it might have been later on in the game when they were losing. But obviously, Spurs fans chanting at us saying that Crystal Palace have won more than us, which, it was a bit of a low blow, Spurs fans. But you got your comeuppance in the end. So.
Right. Also, because I've seen this on social media, I did not hear that song once. I don't know whether it was only being sung by a tiny amount, whether it was AI. I don't know, but I did not hear that song at any point.
No, I saw a video of it from their wall behind the goal.
Yeah, but everybody who was in the stadium did not hear it. So I don't know whether
well,
it's just...
It's not like Spurs fans to be not very good at chanting. So
they were, but they were very quiet. But then also they're all on the piss, weren't they?
Yeah,
so then you'd be louder, though, no?
Well, maybe.
True. But let's be frank. Look, half their team was bloody paralytic. Romero and Maddison were out till 6 a.m. So, anyway, let's move on then. Obviously we went 1-0 down, but we turned around in the second half, and Jack Hinshelwood, the man playing up front, which was one for the book. So he's literally played every position. We were joking about it in the preview.
Yeah, we actually did, didn't we?
We actually did, didn't we? We joked about it in the preview, and it came true. Hersler must be watching Seagulls Social. So, but he obviously got 2 goals to his name. And first one was just a poacher's one, wasn't it? A nice little instinctive fox in the box kind of goal, Ben. And then his second one, the little back heel, was very cheeky.
So good.
And I thoroughly enjoyed that. But Ben, Jack Hinshelwood, the guy can play anywhere. He can score goals. Is he going to be a starter next season? Nailed down now, or do you think we've got to wait for the summer incomings to see where the squad is?
This is going to sound really stupid, but the fact that he's so good in so many different positions, does that mean that he's just more of a good player to come off the bench rather than start? Yeah. That's the thing, is he shot himself
and
in the
he's still
foot
super
with
young. We forget how young he is as well. He's still, 21? 20?
Yeah, I mean, people might think I'm stupid, but I still don't think he starts, which is crazy. But he's definitely an unbelievable player to bring off the bench and eventually will be a starter. I imagine next season he'll probably break into the England first team squad if it continues, which would be amazing for the family and obviously for Brighton as well. But that back heel was sensational. It was just so clean and connected with it so well. You could see how cheeky his celebration was. He was like, he loved it.
And just quickly, Jack as well. Just quickly on Jack as well. Jack Hinshelwood, Jack and Jack. Let's say he does start, right? What is his best position? Because we've seen him play now. 7 different positions. What do you think? Because you've seen him, watched him play a lot, like through all sort of levels.
A couple of games for the.
Where do you think he is best suited? Like, is it centre midfield? Is it right back? Is it up front? Where do you see him being best?
Do you know, I do agree with Ben a little bit that I hope he doesn't get sort of, because I think we had Steve Alzate, didn't we, who was sort of like, jack of all trades, master of none. And he was, that's so good. So I've seen him pretty much for the first team and the reserves. The reserves. Christ, we haven't had reserves for years. Under 21s, I've seen him play pretty much every position. I've seen him play centre back. I've seen him play up front, on the wing as well. He's a great player and he works really hard for the team. But I still think there's, he is our. I think he will be our midfield replacement. He could well be our Pascal Gross replacement. Come in maybe a few years, give him a bit of time. Because you look at some of his performances, maybe not quite Pascal Gross, maybe more of a McAllister replacement. But, this sort of midfield role that he plays where he can go box to box, I just think he's a great player. He's a fantastic little player. He's a great little asset to have. I think
terrific
he can work.
Little player.
Yeah, terrific little player. I think he's the future of this team, and I think he's going to be here a long, long time, like a Solly March and or a Lewis Dunk. And I think you can get him in sort of. I think back to some of his performances this season in midfield, and some of his midfield performances have been superb. I remember Nottingham Forest at the beginning of the season when Forest were doing really, really well. But the big one for me was Newcastle away in the Cup. He absolutely bossed that midfield against what is arguably, in my opinion, probably one of the best midfields in the league. That midfield three of Joelinton, Bruno, and Tonali. I mean, there's not many better than that, and he completely dominated that. So for me, I don't quite know how I'd fit Jack into the team, but he is mega young. And he's got plenty of space on the pitch.
Yeah,
so,
no, he is. He's a fantastic talent, and obviously his 2 goals, I think, sort of personified that performance really. Like, the cheeky back heel, the instinctive finish, and it was just a really, really good performance.
I don't know if you boys noticed on the broadcast. Obviously, Jack, you were there, but I was having to stream it legally, guys. I was in another country on Sunday. But every time he was in the box for a corner, because we got so many corners all of a sudden, we actually scored from him. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
but,
mental.
It would zoom in on Jack. It would zoom in on Jack's face, and he'd be like laughing and giggling. And even the commentators picking up, and it's like, oh, Jack's obviously getting excited at the chance for getting his hat trick, and or just being that confident. He was like, just like licking his lips, almost like Ronaldinho before the Champions League. So he's obviously really enjoying his new ability. But just to maybe answer your former question. I think he's wasted in defence, seeing as how good he actually is becoming in front of goal. So, I do like the comparisons to Alexis McAllister type role, where he can just grab a few goals as well, and maybe add a bit more creativity to his game.
No, 100%. And talking of getting a hat trick, mate, we got a penalty, and I thought it was going to be set up for him to step up.
Fuck is that all about?
Well, it looked like to me from the stand that he was offered the penalty and he said no. Because he did walk over to it and he sort of went... Because if you think about it, his last penalty he missed, which was in the...
Forest game.
The Forest game. So, and at the end of the day, like, we were only 2-1 up. And Forest could have got 2 late goals. So you want to give it to the allocated penalty taker to score it.
No, 100%. And we've seen it as well in the past where that's happened so many times where players are on a hat trick and, people start arguing. Remember the Chelsea one when Madueke, I think it was, when he started, or Jackson, I think it was. They were just having a massive argument. And obviously, Jackson never the kind of characters to do that. But, like you said, Jack, you want the designated taker to step up. And
although I was more nervous when I saw Matt O'Reilly was holding it. I was like, this guy's missing. There's no way this guy's burying it. but luckily he did also.
Cool, he slotted away from it.
He was a penalty taker at Celtic, so he was probably the most natural option there. And maybe in his celebration, I think there's been a few rumours about him being off, and maybe he's sticking around. He seemed to be pretty happy.
I didn't understand that rumour. Like, he's been here for less than a season. He was injured for a lot of it. Like, for me personally, I can't see any truth to that.
Is it Roma and Leeds that I've seen him linked with?
Yeah, I just can't see that happening personally. And I think it'd be sad to not see him have a full season under us and see what he's really all about. Because obviously he was highly regarded at Celtic, wasn't he? So, yeah, it'll be great to see him get a full
Speaking
season
of-
under his belt.
Like in-game emotions and celebrations. There was one clip that lasted about 2 seconds after Gomez scored his goal, and Matoma's looking at the camera and does that, taps the badge 3 times.
Don't do this to us, Ben.
And someone
Don't do
said,
this to us.
one of the captions was like, "Don't do this, man. Don't do this, man. I can't do this all summer." Something like that.
Yeah. No, I hate looking into that kind of stuff because, most of the time it's bullshit, isn't it? Like, you've seen people kiss badges. Even bloody Trent kissed his badge and he's off to Madrid in the summer. So I can't trust any footballers, mate. I can't trust any of them. But I would love Matoma to stay, of course. But
Actually, interestingly, a little anecdote from yesterday, a Jack anecdote, which is always fun. While we're on the subject of celebrations, I met Minter's brother on the train.
Oh, nice.
And I asked him what this celebration against Newcastle was all about. And Minter's brother said it was what we thought it was saying that, you're not my club anymore. I'm happy here and I love it at Brighton. And that's what his brother said to me. So there you go. Apparently a load of Newcastle fans were giving him abuse, and that's why he decided to...
Don't tell us on Seagulls Social we don't give you absolute insight into the beautiful game. Don't
Jack
ever come at us.
ITK.
No, amazing. That's actually quite insightful, Jack.
It was. Very nice man, Minter's brother, as well.
I can imagine. I mean, Minter seems like a lovely bloke, so I can imagine his brother being similarly very lovely. And Ben, you've already mentioned it, but Gomez's goal, wow. And a big shout out to Roland Calante. Big shout out to him. He caught the goal in all its glory and sent it over to us. Big shout out to you, Roland. Sorry. And
Ronald Calante.
Ronald, sorry, Ronald, sorry, I got it wrong 3 times. So apologies.
It's all right. I'm sure he won't mind.
Yeah, but no, what a fantastic goal, Jack. Like Gomez as well, another player that you mentioned it earlier in the pod about, some players come into their own and slowly starting to stamp their mark on the team. And obviously Gruder is one of them. I think O'Reilly slowly starting to stamp his authority on the team. Now Gomez slowly showing flashes, maybe not as consistent as the others, but slowly showing flashes of brilliance, Gomez, Jack.
I mean, that is the way to stamp your sort of I'm here.
First goal
really
as well
good.
for Brighton.
Literally wrap your foot round one from about 25 yards into the side netting, that was just a superb goal. It was a great sort of great way to just end the season, wasn't it? Just this sort of lovely end to the season. He seemed really emotional as well when he scored. The big thing for him, first goal in the Premier League. And I think it was just sort of, it gave you a lot of hope for the upcoming season when that went in.
No, 100%. Like, talking of emotions, it's great to see, when Gruder scored his first goal, how much it meant to him. Gomez, like you said, meant so much to him. So, it's really beautiful to see. And I genuinely believe now, from the past couple of games that I've seen, this is a great way. Everyone keeps saying, not that they were dead rubbers, because obviously we still had a lot on the line, but you could argue a lot of players could be on the beach, mentally not there, physically not there. But in the last couple of games, we've shown that, we still want it. Players are really showing what they're all about and staking a claim for next season. I think next season is going to be huge. I know I'm being very positive about next season, but I feel like there is reason to be, like you said, Jack, there's reason to feel positive for next season. I think it's going to be a huge summer ahead. If we can keep some of the players...
But also a lot of players to get rid of. We need to get rid of a lot of players that aren't going to be getting used next season. I imagine Enceiso's going to go. Sarmiento will go. Dinger will probably go because he looks miles off it. So, it'll be interesting to see who goes as well.
It's interesting because I think there were reports today that bids are already coming in for Enceiso. That I don't think will be. I think we can all accept that Enceiso will be heading off now. I can't say I'm too bothered.
How much would you take for him? 25?
25, 30 million. Still get a bit of profit off that for me. And look, I think there's potential in there, but he just, with the options we've got and the options sort of... And look, I'll stand up and say it myself. I'll fully admit I was wrong. A few weeks ago, and I think my friends even pulled me up on this when we were coming home on Sunday, that, I said I'd rather have Enciso in the squad than Gruder, but Gruder's sort of shown, he does have the ability to play well, and Enciso's had an interesting loan spell at Ipswich. I don't think it was very telling that he wasn't involved on the final day, that they weren't really interested and that he was in any way the future for them. So, it's it's an interesting end to a player who I really did think would come special, but I just don't see it now. I think we've got better options completely. So
Yeah. And talking of options, just quickly, big Tommy Watson. What a moment for him on the weekend. Obviously getting the winner for Sunderland. Well, look, again, I think I've got to stand up and put my hands up, similar to Jack. I think when we announced it, I was very confused by the signing because of how many options we've got on the wings. Like, we've got so many options. But he looks like a very special player. I know he's very much in and out of the squad since he announced that he was leaving. I think that he was he was on the bench a lot.
I think that was poor. I mean, obviously they're not going to say it's poor now because he scored a winner for them in the playoff final. But I do. Do you know? I went to the pub before the game yesterday, and there's still lots of very broken Sunderland fans who seem to be a little bit worse for wear in the pub, having the last couple of pints before their train back up to Sunderland and having a chat with them. And I think we were all in agreement, Brighton and Sunderland fans, that it was a very strange thing to do to announce that signing before the end of the season or before his season was over, because it puts a lot of pressure on the lad because they know he's off. But I think it does
happen though, doesn't it?
It happens occasionally, but I think with a player with so much, because they had quite a lot at stake really with Premier League promotion, it was a bit strange. But you can't complain about it now because his last act as a Sunderland player, unless of course we loan him back or something like that, was getting them promoted to the Premier League. So they'll be thanking him forever, basically.
What's that?
Did you see the video?
100 million in the bank?
Yeah.
You see the video, like the slow mo from behind the other goal.
Unreal. So good.
Insane. And the limbs were incredible. It's like seeing people fall over.
And what a composed finish, by the way.
Just pass it in the corner.
Passed it in the corner, yeah. Unbelievable. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see him next season. I think, not another addition on the wide areas, which is going to be interesting. And, we're going to have a lot of ins and outs. So, it's going to be interesting to see how next season pans out. But there's one more thing I was going to mention. I completely forgot what it was now. But any other business, boys? Maybe come to me.
Not really. I think it's just a nice way.
We are speaking to Archie shortly.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're going to be speaking to Archie. Who obviously done the incredible charity walk all the way from Brighton or Hayward Heath. Where was it?
No, From Brighton. From
Brighton. From the Amex all the way through to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which incredible feat. So he's going to talk to us all about that. And Archie
He's got a call from Fabian Herzler, and he'll tell you what he said.
Bloody hell, Ben, don't ruin it.
We haven't done it yet.
Tell us all about it.
We haven't filmed it yet. So.
He's going to tell us all about it. But no, make sure to stick around. He's going to be on here chatting all things about the beautiful walk they did for charity. So big shout out to them, boys. Boys, that is it for us. Our last match reaction of the season. What roller coaster. Just quickly from each one of you, can we have a little 30-second summary of the season in your own words? Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Go on, Ben.
Because Jack will probably better mine anyway. So I'm going to say
I've probably gone for about 3 years. So
I'll do 10 seconds just to justify the extra he's going to do. I think it was a good season. In terms of looking at the transition and that sort of thing. The youngest manager, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, to finish where we have, that would have been a great season anyway. If we would have got Conference League, we would have been all buzzing right now. I probably would have been drunk. So for that reason, I think it was a very good season. And next season can only get better because all these new players are going to have another season under their belt. Herzl will have a whole season under their belt. And the winning mentality that we failed with a lot at times this season will hopefully be fixed over the summer with a few more experienced heads in positions that we desperately need.
Nice. Jack?
Yeah, I think it's been a very interesting season. You know, I've had some great days out. I've enjoyed myself this season, and you know, I had a 3-hour walk home with some of my mates from the pub last night after the final game, and we all sort of said, you know, we all had a great time, and it's great seeing your friends every week. And yeah, I just think it's been one of those seasons to enjoy, and there's been some terrible moments as well this season, but I think it's sort of binded those together to make our love for Brighton Hove Albion Football Club even larger and greater than it ever was before.
Oh, well done. I don't know how I'm going to top that, but I'll give it a good go. Well, to quote a panel member, this season is a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster, and we've just had to ride it. So I feel like there's been a lot of highs, a lot of lows. You know, the biggest low is probably Palace winning the FA Cup and us getting knocked out the FA Cup and not getting Europe. But then on the flip side, we've had some incredible moments against some big team. You know, some of the top. I remember the Man City game at home was a great win. Chelsea doing the double over them. We had some great memories, some great goals. Matoma scoring that absolute world against Chelsea. There's been some great moments, and I feel like I'm very hopeful going into next season. I feel like this could be a really, really special season if we can put all the things together. I think it's slowly bubbling away. But we'll see. I don't want to jinx it now. Probably going to.
I hate to go back to injuries, but we really have had a load of really bad injuries.
Oh,
We have. We have.
The injuries have
That's a
been a joke.
fact. It's a fact.
I
You
don't.
can't get away from it.
Just on another, I suppose, just quickly going back to the Tottenham game, another 2 injuries as well, just out of nowhere. Just, it was, I had my injury rant about 10 minutes into the game when Igor was like trying to, and he was doing his best at being an overlapping fullback, but Lord knows that Igor is not an overlapping fullback. It was my frustration with injuries, and I think if we can get a bit more depth and stop our players getting bloody injured every week, then hope is what we're all here for, isn't it?
Yeah,
But it's the hope
100%.
that kills you.
And another a surprising one, actually. A nice cameo for James Milner.
Oh yeah, while we're on injuries, my favourite song of the season. I'll just do that nomination before we go. My favourite song of the season was James Milner. We thought you were dead.
No way.
That was a great song.
Dead.
No, he's not dead. He's just playing on the wing. So,
But I believe he's going to have a 70-30 contract next season, isn't he? 70 coaching, 30 playing, some shit.
yeah, something like that.
What was it this season? 70 on the bench. 70 not
Was
playing.
him on the bench 70% of that? I think it must have been about 98% off the
At
bench,
home.
2%
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I will finish with this bit because Hersler did make a quote on James Milner and was explaining his season really shortly. So Fabian said, it was important. It was a thank you from my side to James. He was always there for me. He was always there for me for the team. Even when he was injured, he came to a lot of the away games. He showed great effort, and I think that's the only thing that I could have given him back. Of course, I could say thank you, but behaviours and actions show more than words, and that's why I put in him. And fair play, I rate that. Yeah, actions do speak louder
And it
than
does
words.
sound like he had a huge contribution to the team behind the scenes.
Well, it's similar to Steele, isn't it? Like how
Yeah.
the big reason why Steele's still around. Not to say he's not a
Yeah,
good
no, he's
backup
perfectly
keeper.
capable second choice,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Yeah. But
He's a great
I think
caddy.
around the club to have those characters like a Welbeck when Lallana was here, obviously Milner now, and those experienced heads, you need them, don't you? So of course we jest, but of course it'd be great to have Milner next season in a more of a backroom capacity, I think, rather than on the pitch maybe. But right, on that note then, boys, we're going to be speaking to Archie, and we shall see you for the next pods, which are going to be Keep Loan Sell. And we're going to do our end of season awards as well. So make sure to we're not going to be going for a couple of weeks yet.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Peace.
And we are now introduced. Well, we're actually now joined by. And we're going to introduce the lovely Archie. Archie, welcome to Seagulls Social. This is your big debut, and also you've achieved an incredible feat this weekend. So welcome to the show, mate. And just give us an introduction.
Getting on the podcast.
Who you are. Yeah, who you are, what you've done this weekend, because it's been an incredible feat. We mentioned it on the last podcast, but if anyone has just joined us, let us know what you're all about and what you've been up to.
Yeah, thanks for the warm welcome. So on Friday, me and friends, Jenson and Teddy, along with my dad and Jenson's dad, Darren, we left from the Amex and we walked a total of around 62 miles to the Tottenham game on the weekend for Cancer Research UK.
Love that. Big round of applause, boys. Look, that is seriously impressive. Love that, Archie. Love that. And just talk to us, Archie. What was the inspiration behind it? What made you guys want to do it? Obviously, I know it's for a great cause for Cancer Research, but was there like a meaning behind it, a story behind it?
So I was just watching TikTok on the bus. I think I was going to we were going into town before the Villa game. And I was watching TikTok and I was with Teddy, and it was a Bournemouth fan called Ben. And he walked from Dincourt to St Mary's and back again. And so I spoke to Teddy and we were like, we could do something similar. And so we checked the fixture list and we thought that Tottenham would be a great game to walk to. So me and Teddy, we then raised the idea to Jenson because we were looking for a charity to do. We thought if Jenson wanted to come, he could come along. And Jenson's brother unfortunately died of cancer when he was around 15. It was about 3 years ago. It was terrible. And so we then came about that we'd raise money for Cancer Research UK, and after a lot of training, we finally did it.
Well done.
Yeah. Another round of applause. Round of applause. No, brilliant. That's class.
A very noble cause, of course. Cancer Research UK. That's very well done. It's you've walked a lot further than I can walk, like 200 meters before feeling out of breath. So.
I think you guys must have walked more than I've ever walked in my life. I think. And what was it like, Archie? Obviously, that's a lot of walking for people that What was the journey like? Was there any fun? Was there any fun interactions? Was there anything that sort of happened along the way that you can tell us about?
So we had BBC come in the morning when we were at the Amex, which was good. And then we got about an hour in and we had a call with Sky TV, which if you saw, I said that they were talking about the Tottenham game. And I said that winning the Sussex Senior Cup was better than winning the Europa League. But,
Love that.
Yeah, we then...
very true as well.
Then, I mean, what a proper trophy that is.
That does...
We then
I was going to say, doesn't that mean that Horsham are technically a bigger club than Tottenham Hotspur by that metric?
Yeah.
And us?
And us.
And then the Kitmen, Buzz and Harry, joined us for a bit because they're doing a charity walk. So they did their training with our walk. And then Buzz, very kindly, we got a FaceTime with Hertzler, which is very nice.
Oh, mate, that's unreal.
Yeah. And he gave us...
What did Big Hertzler say?
Normally what he says on the Albion Unlocked. Like...
Can you play up front?
Boys.
Can you play up front? We're missing a lot of players.
Yeah, pretty much. He referenced his Newcastle thing where he was like talking about that bloke running and like when he got really tired. Yeah. And so he did that, and then we got a few like video messages. We got some from Veltman, Hinshelwood, and Welbeck, which is very nice. And Welbeck greeted us when we arrived at the ground.
Wow.
Oh, unreal, mate. What an experience that is.
He wasn't that busy in the afternoon, obviously, was he, being injured? So.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah,
to be fair,
Archie probably
could have played up front with Hinshelwood, I think, at one point. They were probably thinking about it. So,
exactly.
Oh, no, not with my shooting ability. No, I could not play up front.
Mate, you got the fitness for it. You got the fitness, so you're halfway there.
Yeah, we did. We did have injury problems on our walk. All the problems came in Croydon.
Shock.
Unsurprisingly, Teddy pulled his hamstring. We had a few. My dad got sponsored to wear. Yeah, my dad got sponsored to wear a tutu by one of his friends.
Nice.
And so he had a load of Palace fans shouting out the window, giving it the usual stick.
Excellent.
But Teddy did, fair play to him. He did about 5 miles with a torn hamstring.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
mate.
I've torn my hamstring before, and that's not easy. Like to walk, let alone trying to do it for charity as well. So big props.
I was going to say it's a shame the medical team didn't meet you as well, but they're just as bad, so probably didn't.
Oh yeah, that's probably a bonus.
Aside from the injuries, Archie, you were all good.
Oh yeah, I'm all good. It was probably one of the best away days of all time.
Imagine,
and that a great reception at the ground to anyone which came up and said thank you very much, and then a great performance to round it off, and a party with a load of Charlton fans afterwards at London Bridge. We had a promotion party in Charlton.
Unbelievable.
It was nice. Yeah, I met a lot of Charlton fans and a lot of Sunderland fans yesterday, actually.
Met a lot of Sunderland fans. Well, I was meant to. My cousin lives in Sunderland, so I was meant to see him, but he didn't get a ticket. Up the Mackhams, that's a new ground next year.
So, yeah,
let's go.
I was happy Sunderland went up. To be fair,
one of my remaining 92 grounds as well. Just if anyone wondered.
And then just quickly, mate, I don't think you've mentioned it so far, but how much have you raised? Because, again, an incredible amount that you guys have raised. Like, I usually see people do marathons and they raise about 100 quid, 200 quid, which is obviously great. You know, any number is amazing, but you guys got an amazing sum of money. You raised a lot of money.
Yeah, so as the time of I went on, we were on 16 grand, which is mind-blowing considering our original conversation with Teddy was whether we set the target for 250 or 500 quid, which we would have been over the moon by. But,
no, of course, no disrespect, by the way. I feel really bad
is...
by saying the 200 there. So, no disrespect to anyone who's raised any kind of money. I realise how badly that came across there.
Cancel Maz.
Yeah, cancel Maz. But 16 grand is actually an insane amount of money. So, huge congratulations, man. That's unbelievable.
So, basically, if you do similar, you've got to step up to the same level as Archie here, and make all Archie and his mates make 17, 18 grand. That's the next target, isn't it, for the next time? So
there you go. Forget Europe.
No, that's amazing.
You've got to raise 18 grand.
Yeah, amazing amount of money as well.
Yeah. I mean, the club were really good about it. So we got in the programme before the West Ham game, and they put us on the social media. We're in the Tottenham programme, which I didn't know about until I got sent a message today going, "Look, you're in the Tottenham programme." Which I was unaware of. But
did the club donate any money?
Really. Ray Bloom did. Ray Bloom gave us 500 quid.
Excellent,
nice.
But I mean, I got a call with Hinshelwood, which I definitely didn't join. Yeah, I definitely didn't.
Forget the charity. I got a call with Fabian Ersler.
I definitely didn't stand there like that after Forest and Brentford questioning his tactics. No.
It's all forgiven, Archie. All forgiven.
Yeah.
Nice.
But no, the club were amazing about it.
Yeah.
No, that's
the
class.
real
Listen. Oh, go on, Jack.
I think. I was going to say, with a sort of a damp squib to the end of the season, it's a really good sort of feel good story to sort of see the season out. Really, sort of a great bit of stuff. Yeah.
Massive congratulations, man. And any final words, mate? Anything you want to sort of shout out, or anything that you got going on? Maybe another charity walk coming in the future.
I'm kind of glad we didn't get Europe, so I don't have to walk there.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, Kazakhstan would have been a long way.
I suppose. That is one good way of looking at it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Incredible, man.
Amazing.
Yeah, well done, Archie. Yeah,
top man.
Always
Thank you so much for joining us, mate. Really, really appreciate it. And honestly, well done to you and everyone involved. And big shout out to the club as well for supporting you guys and everyone who's donated. Yeah. So massive shout out. And we wish you all the best, Archie, mate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Can you still donate if you've just heard about it now? Yeah. You want to do it afterwards?
Yes. So I'll send you guys the link, which you can put.
Yeah, you can stick it in the bio.
Yeah, we're going to keep it open for a couple of weeks because we're doing TV stuff tomorrow for BBC again.
Nice, excellent.
So we're keeping it open for another 2 or 3 weeks. So
obviously, Seagulls Social came first. We get that, Archie. Seagulls Social, BBC. Yeah.
You know, and if you need, as a veteran TV interviewer now, if you need any advice, Archie, just send it my way. How to.
You went on a thing before the Chelsea game once, and you just said have a good interview voice.
Exactly.
That was some advice from you. So I've got a nice loud interview voice.
If you need a yellow jacket though, just go.
Yellow jacket, so you're picked out of the crowd now. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Oh
yeah,
mate, legend. Thank you so much.
I wear my gross bucket hats every game.
Oh yeah, gross bucket hat. Yeah, I know you're not quite me yet, but you need the yellow jacket. So.
Right, amazing. Thank you so much, Archie, man. And thank you so much for all your hard work, man. It was incredible what you've done. Legend.
Thank you very much.
Peace out.